Hey Dom, this is Dave Decide. Today I want to get into some alleged flirty Jimin moments that fans are saying are flirting. And I also wanted to get into some apparent SASAENG moments of Jimin in LA. And then of course theories of Jimin's solo music video or album being LGBT. Let's talk about it all. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. Grab a dumpling, tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that I want to get into is Jimin in LA. Apparently, this was definitely something interesting that people woke up to today, and people were very curious about what was going on. I think it was believed after Jimin left Korea to fly to Chicago to Lollapalooza, he was going to be there either at J-Hope's show performing a song or just there to support J-Hope and his huge solo comeback, and then eventually they would all fly back to Korea. Bang PD was even there, and it seemed like he was there simply to support J-Hope and TXT. I guess millionaires really do fly to another country to support their friends. It must be nice. But people believe that Jimin actually still hasn't left America. There was a story that was allegedly posted by a BTS producer, and the video ended up going viral and circulating online. The video showed this person recording the palm trees and skies, and people noticed that someone in the video looked like Jimin from the back. However, the timeline of this story is unknown, as 24 hours are probably up since the producer posted it, and we won't know if it existed or not, but only by the repost videos on Twitter. But given that it could be a BTS producer, it wouldn't be entirely strange for Jimin to appear or for the producer to be hanging out with Jimin. So this was one of the first signs that Jimin was in LA, and probably without J-Hope. So people are wondering what is going on. There was a photo then circulating around of Jimin eating at a restaurant in LA. I won't post the photo as people get mad when stalker photos are reposted, but it's online. You can definitely find it. The photo showcased Jimin at a nice place, and a lot of people online were very upset. It's one thing to go up and ask for a photo, which they will probably deny because the label doesn't want the boys to take photos, but it's another to take a creepy picture from 30 feet away and they clearly may not know about it. Videos and posts started to circulate because apparently there was a video in which Jimin noticed this person recording him, and people thought that he was annoyed but couldn't show it. Obviously, you'd be annoyed if someone was recording you without your permission. Most people in general don't like to be recorded without permission, whether a celebrity or not. Some people were defending the stalker and saying that Jimin wasn't annoyed because Jimin never physically confronted the stalker and said anything to the stalker like get away or stop, and was still smiling. If Jimin was annoyed, there would be very little chance he would actually say anything. If there is a video floating around of Jimin acting angry or annoyed on video, that is a very bad look for him, and he knows that. The clip can then be taken out of context and then used to say he is rude to fans. All you can do in that moment is smile, and you just ignore the recording until you're done with your meal and can leave. There are small things like he could have said like, hey, please don't record me, I'm sorry my label doesn't like it, or something along those lines, but these lines can also get taken out of context, and I am sure when they go through media training or whatever, they tell Jimin if you're unsure what to do, just do nothing and smile. And so he did that. I think in a scenario where Jimin might not have had makeup on, or in a scenario in which he may not be dressed to his image, it would be bad and not great for someone to just record. So respect the idol's privacy in their off time. And if you want to interact with them, you can go up and have a normal conversation, but don't take stalker photos. But this restaurant was allegedly in LA, so it also further pushed this belief that he was in LA again for whatever reason. People were assuming that maybe he was working on a new song, or he was currently in LA to film something. After the lyrics messed up, where it was believed Jimin initially said, I want a man, people are thinking that maybe he came out, and some still believe that the original lyrics is that, but the label or whatever decided to change the lyric to I want your name. Either way, Jimin was never given writing credit, and even if he changed one word or sentence, I believe you get writing credit. So the fact that he didn't mean he has no control over the lyrics, and whether the lyrics straight up said I am gay, it would not have been his decision to sing that. Since all the members mentioned working on solo stuff and solo albums, people were wondering if he's working on something like that, and if it's an LGBT themed album. Of course, there's tons of gay rumors floating around Jimin or BTS online, and a lot of people, even when they thought the Jimin lyric was gay, they were all very supportive and happy that he had quote unquote come out, even though he didn't. I don't see any evidence to prove that Jimin will have a gay album or whatever. We actually don't even know what style it would even be in, if it's even in pop or if it's something else. Now, Benny Blanco filmed a TikTok video with Jimin that had gotten a lot of attention. It's a very fanboy-like video, and it's basically Benny being like, if I point to the sky, BTS will appear, and then Jimin appears. And people were definitely wondering why it was just Jimin, and wondering how much the two were actually hanging out. I think that Benny has genuine love for the members and likes them all a lot, but a lot of these videos can often be created and curated in a certain way. Halsey had mentioned a long time ago ago, even just meeting up with the boys, that they had quote-unquote run a tight ship, meaning there's probably a lot of staff there. So I believe there was a lot of direction given to Jimin and Benny involving this TikTok video for Benny's page. Jimin also can't speak English very well, so it is expected that a translator will be there. People are hoping or thinking that Benny and Jimin might actually be working on more together, and they actually have a video or song planned for the future, and that Jimin's album is coming soon. People were wondering if this was a recent video of Jimin with Benny, or if it was a video that was pre-recorded ages ago. But I don't think it would be recorded ages ago, as Jimin was in Korea for a while. Benny also hosted a small listening party with about 24 ARMYs, and people believe that Benny met with Jimin before the listening party. But if that was the case, I wouldn't see why Jimin wouldn't appear at the listening event. And also, Benny is wearing different clothes, although that doesn't say much, but just a point to point out. After the TikTok and all that, Jimin posted on the official BTS Twitter account to thank Benny for all the time they spent together, and that it was really nice to meet him. Jimin also added a kissy face emoji, which people thought was him implying that he wanted to send a kiss to Benny, and it probably was just a cute flirty thing that he even does with the BTS members. I don't think they were super flirty in person because they don't speak the same language, but I do think Benny and Jimin have a similar personality, and sometimes it's not necessary to learn the language in order to communicate and vibe with each other. People were also breaking down the selfie that Benny and Jimin put together. I mean, this is a crazy morning. ARMYs are doing the most to try to figure out what Jimin is up to in LA. They took the corner of the selfie and noticed some plants that were there. Fans then went into Benny's account and noticed another picture that Benny posted, I think kissing his girlfriend, and people noticed that the plant was in that frame, so they think that Jimin and Benny's photo was taken in the same location, and that Jimin and Benny might have hung out at Benny's home. Maybe Jimin wanted to see the home where the Bad Decisions video was shot. Maybe they were there just to film the promotion stuff for Bad Decisions. Oftentimes artists make songs together. It's not just in the contract that they have to create the song. It's also that they have to do some of the promotional stuff, performances, etc. So interviews, if any. Which, by the way, speaking of performances, if BTS and Benny and Snoop do any performances of the song, I would love to react to it on my Patreon. I've reacted to several performances of music videos on my Patreon, so if you want to check that out, I will link my Patreon down below. Now, something interesting and crazy is that the modern world and tech changes so quickly that even a new slang that you might learn is not relevant tomorrow, or the technology and marketing style that we are used to is no longer the ideal way to do things anymore. In this modern day, promo doesn't even have to be TV anymore, and oftentimes just an in-person TikTok video can generate 10 million views and get a lot more press to a music video than sometimes even a talk show can do. And people used to fly out to do talk shows. So doing a TikTok video might seem silly for just Jimin to fly out for, but it's definitely not. So I don't necessarily think Jimin and Benny were working on anything like a music video, but I do think they were working on the promotional video, like the TikTok and stuff. I'm definitely curious to hear what you think. What do you think of the kissing emoji that Jimin sent to Benny? What do you think Jimin was working on with Benny at his house? What do you think of the alleged SASAENG in LA taking pictures of Jimin at a restaurant? And what do you think that Jimin is currently doing in LA, working on an album with either Benny or other producers? Let me know what you think, and make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks, just love the comment right here. Love you, bye.